Alright, Majin Trunks, episode 5. Feature Gohan versus Majin Trunks, an unnatural alliance. Let's get to it. Gohan stood across from Trunks, his heart heavy with a mix of sorrow and disbelief. The boy that he had trained, the hopeful warrior who had fought so hard to protect their world, was now radiating an aura of pure malice. The symbol on Trunks' forehead bore a twisted M that pulsed with dark energy, and his golden hair crackled with black lightning, and his eyes, once filled with determination, now simply burned with unrestrained fury. What happened to you, Trunks? Gohan thought, his stomach twisting with guilt. While I was unconscious for those days, what did you do to yourself? He had always seen Trunks as more than just a student. He was like a little brother, the last spark of hope in a dying world. But now, staring into those cold, rage-filled eyes, Gohan barely even recognized him. Trunks he knew would never endanger innocent lives or revel in destruction like this. You've changed, Gohan said, his voice low but firm. This isn't you, Trunks. This power is corrupting you. Trunks only grinned, his fingers twitching with barely contained energy. No, Gohan. I've finally become strong enough. Gohan clenched his fist, his heart aching. He had failed Trunks, and now he had to stop him before he lost himself completely. Trunks didn't wait for another word. With a roar, he blurred forward, his fist aimed straight at Gohan's face. The air itself seemed to scream as he moved, his speed beyond anything Gohan had ever seen from him before. Gohan barely had time to react, his instincts kicking in as he raised his arm to intercept the punch, but Trunks was already pivoting, his knee slamming into Gohan's ribs. The impact sent shockwaves through Gohan's battered body, and he gritted his teeth against the pain. He's faster, stronger, but he's not thinking, Gohan told to himself. Gohan ducked under another wild swing, countering with a sharp elbow to Trunks' jaw. The strike barely even fazed him, and Trunks laughed, spitting out a little blood before lunging again. You still think you have a chance, Trunks snarled, his attacks growing more frenzied. I don't need any more lessons, Gohan. Gohan's heart ached at the venom in his voice. This wasn't even a spar. This wasn't training. This was a fight for Trunks' very soul, and Gohan refused to lose in this moment. Android 18 watched this whole thing as she sat against the wall with her eyes flickered between the two Saiyans. Her mind struggled to process what was actually happening. Gohan, save me. The idea was laughable. She had spent years tormenting him, killing his friends, mocking his failures, and yet when Trunks was about to obliterate her along with the survivors, Gohan had stepped in. Not for her sake, she knew, but still, he had stopped it. A bitter smirk tugged at her lips, pathetic. Even now he's still playing hero. But as she watched Gohan take hit after hit from Trunks, something gnawed at her. This wasn't just a fight, it was a reckoning. And for the first time in her existence, she couldn't believe that she was rooting for her worst enemy. Trunks' fist came like a meteor, and Gohan barely managed to catch it in his palm. The moment their hands connected, Gohan felt the raw, unnatural force behind Trunks' strike. His arm trembled, his muscles screamed as he pushed back, his boots carving trenches into the ground. The power is way beyond just a Super Saiyan. Plus, Trunks' energy seemed dark and hungry. Gohan's teeth ground together as he fought to hold his ground. Trunks, listen to me. This isn't strength, it's a poison. Trunks only grinned wider, his fingers tightening around Gohan's wrist. No, it's liberation. It's freedom. And then he yanked Gohan forward, straight into a brutal headbutt. The world spun as Gohan's skull cracked against Trunks' forehead. Pain exploded behind his eyes, his vision blurring as he was sent flying backward. He crashed through a weakened wall, the bricks and steel collapsing around him in a deafening roar. Dust and debris swallowed him whole, burying him beneath tons of rubble. For a moment there was only silence, then movement. Trunks stepped forward, his breath ragged, his eyes wild. Stay down, Gohan, he growled. This fight is unwinnable. But deep beneath the rubble, a faint pulse of energy flickered, because Gohan wasn't done yet. Gohan forced himself to his feet, his body aching as dust and debris cascaded off his shoulders. His vision swam, but he refused to stay down, not while Trunks was still lost to this Majin influence. Before him, the Majin Power hybrid stood grinning, his golden aura flickered with sinister energy. Just look, Gohan. Trunks spread his arms, his voice dripping with twisted pride. This is what real strength feels like. No more struggling, no more losing, no more you saving me. With this power, we could end the androids and any other threat to our world. His eyes gleamed with a maniac conviction. Come with me. Babidi can give you this too. You wouldn't have to be weak anymore. Gohan wiped the blood from his lip, his gaze steady. The offer was tempting in the worst way. After years of defeat, the idea of finally having the power to win was appealing, but the cost was written all over Trunks' face. The cruelty in his smile, the savageness in his eyes. No, Trunks, Gohan said, his voice hoarse but firm. This isn't strength. It's slavery. Trunks' grin faltered, then it twisted into something colder. Wrong answer. Without hesitation, Gohan thrust out his palm and unleashed a searing energy blast. The beam tore through the air, forcing Trunks to twist aside, but not fast enough. The edge of the blast grazed his shoulder, burning fabric and flesh alike. Trunks hissed, looking down at the scorch mark in disbelief. Then his expression darkened. You really attack me even knowing you can't win. After everything I've done to save us. Gohan stood his ground, his arms still smoking from the blast. I'm trying to save you, Trunks. Even if I have to knock you out to do it. Trunks' eyes flashed with fury. Fine, if you won't come willingly, I'll drag you to Babidi unconscious. And then he lunged. From the shadows of his ship, Babidi cackled, his beady eyes glued to the crystal ball that was in front of him. The scene that was unfolding was delicious. The righteous mentor fighting his corrupted pupil, each blow steeped in betrayal and desperation. Oh, this is priceless, Babidi wheezed, clutching his stomach as he laughed. The boy doesn't even realize that he's feeding Boo with every burst of energy that he produces, as well as his mentor. He wiped a tear from his eye, grinning at Dabura. And the best part, no matter who wins, I win. Dabura crossed his arms, watching silently. He said nothing, but his gaze lingered on Trunks a bit too long. But Babidi didn't notice because he was too busy enjoying the show. Gohan and Trunks clashed again, their fists a blur of motion. Each strike sent shockwaves through the ruined streets, the ground trembling beneath them. Gohan was slower, weaker. His missing arm and lingering injuries left him at a brutal disadvantage. Every block sent jolts of pain in his remaining arm. Every dodge came a fraction too late. But he refused to fall. Trunks' knee slammed into Gohan's ribs, making a crack sound. Then he backhanded him and sent him tumbling. Blood sprayed. Yet every time Gohan hit the ground, he just rose back up. You're fighting a losing battle, Trunks roared, driving a fist into Gohan's gut. Just stay down. Gohan coughed up blood, but his grip on Trunks' wrist was iron. Never. Not while you're still like this. Trunks snarled, and Gohan yanked him into a headbutt again. Or this time, Gohan yanked him into the headbutt. Gohan knew that he couldn't win a battle of strength, not like this, so he stopped trying. The next time Trunks charged, Gohan let him come, then sidestep at the last second, using Trunks' own momentum to hurl him into a crumbling pillar. Before Trunks could recover, Gohan was already moving, not to attack, but he was repositioning. He needed a way to end this fight, and he was thinking of suggestions on how. Gohan's eyes flickered to the loose drainage cover beneath Trunks' feet. Just for a split second, he let Trunks charge, timing his movements perfectly. As Trunks lunged forward with a furious roar, his boot landed squarely on some unstable metal, and Gohan blasted the cover below him, tilting under his weight, and Trunks' balance faltered. Now it was his chance. Gohan didn't hesitate. Pivoting on his heel, he whipped his leg around into a brutal roundhouse kick, his foot slamming into Trunks' ribs. The impact sent the younger warrior crashing through a nearby storefront window. Glass shattered, shards sprayed like glitter in the fading sunlight. Trunks snarled as he rolled to the top, to a stop, shards sticking into his arms. You cheat! Gohan stood firm, his breath heavy but his stance unbroken. Fighting dirty is better than losing clean, Trunks. I taught you that. Trunks exploded from the wreckage in a storm of glass and fury, his fist cocked back for a devastating haymaker, but Gohan didn't flinch in reaction. He knew this move. He had drilled it into Trunks himself. At the last second, Gohan ducked, letting Trunks' swing sail harmlessly over his head. Before Trunks could recover, Gohan twisted his hips and drove an uppercut straight into his chin with a hard crack sound. The force of the blow lifted Trunks clean off his feet, sending him rocketing into the sky. Gohan exhaled sharply, watching as his former student tumbled end over before catching himself midair. "You're fighting like me," Gohan called up to him, "but you forgot. I know all my own tricks." Trunks hovered in the air, wiping the blood from his mouth. His golden aura flickered erratically. Gohan's smirk only stoked the fire that was within his chest. "I'm tired of you patronizing me," Trunks spat. "You think just because you trained me that you can predict me?" Gohan's expression hardened. "No. But I do know that fighting angrily makes you sloppy. And right now you're not thinking. You're just flailing angrily." Trunks' fingers twitched. He was tired of being lectured, tired of being treated like a child. "Now let's see how you handle this lesson," he growled. "See if you remember this move." Trunks' hands snapped together, yellow energy swirling between his palms. Gohan's stomach dropped. He recognized the stance instantly. It was the Masenko. And worse, Trunks was aiming at him next to the crumbling buildings that were behind him, which had people hiding in the wreckage. Gohan's heart pounded. He could not dodge, because if he did, those people's lives would be at risk. "Damn it, Trunks," Gohan snarled, blending his feet. His own hand flew up, energy gathering in his palm. "Fine, let's do this your way." The two Masenkos collided in a deafening explosion of light, the shock wave rattling the ruins. Gohan gritted his teeth, pouring every ounce of his strength into this blast. But even as his muscles screamed, he could feel himself losing ground. His single arm trembled and started to shake, his energy waning. Trunks' beam pushed forward inch by inch. "This fight is over, Gohan," Trunks roared. But from the shadows, Android 18 watched, her blue eyes wide. This wasn't supposed to happen. Gohan wasn't supposed to lose, because if he did, she was next. Her fingers curled into fists. This went against everything she was, but survival wasn't about pride. Survival was about winning. "Damn it," she muttered. Then she moved. Before Trunks could finish Gohan off, a blur of blonde hair and fury blasted into him from the side, knocking his aim wild. Trunks' Masenko veered, obliterating a distant skyscraper instead. Gohan gasped, staggering back just in time to see Android 18 standing between him and Trunks, with her fist raised. "Don't get the wrong idea," she snapped. "I'm supposed to be the one who kills you, golden boy, not this brat." Trunks' eyes burned with betrayal and confusion. "You?" Gohan could only stare. The world had truly gone mad. Trunks' head snapped around, his golden eyes locking onto Android 18 with a gaze so feral it sent a primal chill down her spine. His pupils had thinned to slits, like a beast sizing up prey, the air around him warped with dark energy, his hair bristling with reddish lightning. "You dare interfere," his voice was low, guttural, barely human. Android 18 took an involuntary step back, her mechanical enhanced heart pounding in a way she hadn't felt since she was human. This wasn't the same reckless boy she toyed with before. This was something evil. This was something devilish, but pride wouldn't let her show fear. "Someone has to save you from yourself, brat." Trunks' lips peeled back in a snarl, and then he moved. The sound was like a gunshot, a brutal open-handed strike that sent Android 18 flying, her body smashed through 3 crumbling walls before finally embedding itself in the side of a collapsed office building. Dust and debris rained down as she slumped forward, her vision swimming. Her cheek burned, her system screeched with damage alerts. For the first time in her life, Android 18 was feeling true, real, terrifying pain. She tried to push herself up, only for her arms to buckle. What the hell was this kid? Trunks raised his hands, crimson energy swirling in his palm. "I should have killed you the first time," he hissed, but before he could fire, boom. A key blast slammed into Trunks' face, knocking him backward. He whirled, eyes wide, only to see Gohan's arm outstretched, panting heavily. "Gohan, what?" Trunks' voice shook with betrayal. "You're helping her?" Gohan's expression was grim. "I'm stopping you from killing the civilians in the building that's behind her." Trunks' aura erupted, and the ground crackled beneath him. "She's the reason our world is hell." Gohan didn't flinch. And killing her with collateral damage is not the way, Trunks. He gestured to the terrified civilians that were hiding in the ruins behind her. You'd burn them all just for your ploy of vengeance. Trunks' fist trembled. They don't matter in the grand scheme of my mission. Even with their death, I would be saving everyone else that's alive. Gohan's eyes hardened. Everyone matters, Trunks. With a groan, Android 18 dragged herself upright, staggering to Gohan's side. The two exchanged a glance. No trust, no camaraderie, just survival. Trunks saw red. The sight of his mentor standing by the machine that had tormented them for years, it broke something in him. His scream split the sky as his power surged, the Majin symbol on his forehead glowing like a brand. You traitor, he seethed. Now, the both of you should die. The ground shattered as he launched forward, with no strategy or restraint, just raw, pure power and blind rage. And this time, Gohan was going to really feel it. Trunks was no longer a martial artist in this state he was in. He was a storm of pure destruction. His fists were blurs of golden fury, each strike landing with bone-crushing force. Gohan barely managed to block one punch before another slammed into his ribs, sending him skidding across the rubble. Android 18 fared no better. Trunks grabbed her by the throat and smashed her to the ground really hard, with enough power to put a crater into the street. Blood dripped from Gohan's mouth as he struggled to rise. Android 18's system screeched in protest, her vision flickering. They were simply outmatched, outclassed. Trunks loomed over them, his breath tagged, his eyes not even showing his pupil anymore as he radiated unnatural energy. The Majin corruption had consumed him. Every shred of reason, every ounce of restraint gone. Pathetic, he spat, raising a hand. Energy crackled in his palm. You both can die together. Gohan gritted his teeth. Trunks was gone now, fully possessed by whatever was controlling him. Before the killing blast could fire, a split sound was heard. A flash of violent light erupted between them. The air warped, and suddenly a figure stood with his back to Gohan and Android 18, being in pristine clothing. Supreme Kai had intervened. Trunks snarled, "Out of my way." The deity didn't flinch. Certainly, we were just leaving. Then space itself twisted, and in an instant, Gohan and Android 18 were gone, whisked away to safety on another planet they had never seen before. And that's where we're going to end it on that. Be sure to leave a like, share, comment your thoughts down below. Peace.